Fala galera, bem-vindos a mais um TV para quem pedala. Hoje eu trouxe aqui para vocês uma entrevista que eu tive a oportunidade de fazer com um cara que se chama Pruitt. Esse cara nada mais é do que o cara, na verdade, o pai do bike fit, digamos assim. Os grandes processos e os grandes saltos que o bike fit teve nesses últimos tempos foi grande parte por culpa dele, digamos assim, do Pruitt. Hoje em dia ele trabalha como consultor independente da Specialized, ajudando nos processos do Body Geometry Fit, que é o processo de bike fit da Specialized. Fiz uma entrevista bem extensa abordando vários tópicos dessa questão do bike fit, desde dos ciclistas profissionais, a aceitação dos ciclistas profissionais das novas tecnologias de bike fit, por conta dos tradicionalistas do ciclismo, até enduro e downhill, que existe uma resistência muito grande dessas modalidades em aceitar o bike fit, até o bike fit do ciclista do dia a dia, do cara que vai na padaria, do cara que vai trabalhar com a bicicleta, e abordando todos esses tópicos. Bom, eu vou, como na entrevista eu gravei só ele, eu vou falar aqui as perguntas que eu fiz para ele, e aí vocês vão vendo as respostas, que eu acho que fica mais explicado assim a entrevista, beleza? Eu comecei a entrevista perguntando, logicamente, quando que ele começou, da onde que veio esse trabalho dele com bike fit, da onde da formação dele que trouxe essa expertise para que ele pudesse trabalhar com o bike fit numa época que não existia um processo específico para esse final de encaixar o ciclista em cima da bicicleta.
The very first time I did a bike fit was 1975 on a very well-known American athlete that went on to win a gold medal in the '84 Olympics. But it was 1975 we did the first bike fit, and it was one of those things where I had to kind of figure out. She had knee pain only on the bike. She didn't have knee pain off the bike. She had been a competitive rower, had already been to the Olympics as a speed skater. So she'd had lots of athletic experience, but it was only the bike where her knee hurt. So we had to figure out what was it about her, the way she pedaled the bike that made her knee hurt. And that's when it all began, 1975. My training is traditional sports medicine, non-surgical orthopedic stuff, sideline medicine, American football, athletics, basketball. And I had discovered cycling for myself. So the world kind of knew that I was this sports medicine guy and he was a cyclist, and their knees started to hurt, so and it just developed. It was very organic in the way it developed. Did I know in 1975 it was going to be a driving force in my career? No. But it has been very rewarding. It's a sport that is deeply steeped in tradition without any science that founded those traditions. So to be able to bring science to a sport that is, I truly think, changed the sport for better. And now we're changing retail to improve it and open up the doors for more people to ride comfortably. It's awesome.
A próxima pergunta que eu fiz para ele foi, na opinião dele, já que ele viveu todo esse processo, quais foram os grandes marcos do bike fit? Nessa história toda que ele acompanhou e fez parte, quais pontos que ele considera como os grandes marcadores, os pontos que realmente houveram grandes evoluções na história do bike fit?
I think there have been landmark things. So if we go from 1950 to 1975, is basically European-based tradition based on what successful athletes look like. And it was really only from the side view, or what we call the XY plane. So in 1985 is the first time we had the technology that allowed us to study the cyclist in a 3D motion, technology. So that was a quantum leap. So suddenly we had interest in shoulder, elbow, hand. We had hip, knee, foot alignment. And it really did change what we thought and knew about foot support and pedaling techniques. So 1985 was the first big landmark change because of technology. 1998 when Dr. Roger Minkow began to carve up saddles and created a ergonomically safe saddle for men and women. That was landmark. That was so not only does the saddle have to be pretty and match the color of your bike, suddenly it needed to match you. The shoes, the body geometry shoes, came along in 2000. Really helped us address the Z-plane. There had been other things. We'd started to work on orthotics, and there were wedges for cleats. So we became aware of the foot pedal interface, but there were some technologies that really drove it. The other landmark was the availability of motion capture to the public. So I had it in my doctor's office, but Retool in 2002 or 3 really brought motion capture to the masses, and now to the retail shop. So I think, you know, yeah, saddles, shoes, the ability to study it in 3 dimensions, and then having the ability to study it 3 dimensions at the retail level. Those are really landmark changes.
Outro questionamento que eu fiz foi com relação ao tradicionalismo do ciclismo. Muitos ciclistas profissionais são resistentes ao uso da ciência e das tecnologias na modalidade que eles praticam. Então eu perguntei para ele agora, nesses últimos anos que o bike fit realmente cresceu muito, qual foi o retorno dos ciclistas profissionais para o uso dessa tecnologia com eles?
It's been huge. Before I started working with the really elite professionals, well, that's not true because I always have. My first bike fit was an Olympic gold medalist, so I've always had access to that level. But the majority of people who came to see me were regular folks with a saddle pain or a knee pain, and we made them better, and it was enlightening to them. But when you it's like anything else. If you help somebody famous, then the others want to get in line. Exactly. So, you know, Greg LeMond came to me for orthotics back in and it has just grown. But I think the Select brothers really opened the door for bike fitting in the pro peloton. They were racing for Bjarne Riis on Saxo Bank at the time, and Bjarne, for all of his traditional quirks, was the guy who invited me to come to, and Body Geometry, to come to his camp. And it was pretty interesting in that, because he wanted us there, he wanted to embrace technology, but he didn't trust anything that we were doing. And he stood right behind me all day. I mean, he was right here all day. And why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Oh, that can't work. And I finally had a rider that I wanted desperately to raise his handlebars 1 centimeter, 1 silly centimeter. No, that's less aerodynamic. I said, what if I show you, Bjarne, that by raising him a centimeter, I can make him more aerodynamic? Oh, it's impossible. So we took the video, we traced his outline, and when the handlebars were low, his elbows were locked, and he was totally just holding himself up. He had gone beyond his break point, his tipping point. We raised him a centimeter, his elbows bent, and his torso actually relaxed. We raised him a centimeter, but his back came down 2 centimeters. And Bjarne said, okay, I believe. He left the room, hadn't bothered me since. So that was a landmark day. The Select brothers, both of them, have really odd pelvic and knee alignment. And we said, you've got this huge motor, but there's a disconnect between your motor and the pedals. We need to better connect you. And with shoe and footbed technology, the light came on, and yeah, they once the Select brothers said, wow, this really helped, then it was Fabian, and it just, yeah, now everybody wanted a piece of it. Now every Pro Tour team has a bike fit specialist, yeah.
E agora a questão que a galera do mountain bike mais radical costuma questionar bastante, que é o uso do bike fit para o enduro e o downhill. se realmente existe alguma vantagem real, ou se não, pelo fato de você ficar muito em pé em cima da bicicleta e você ter muito movimento, se isso realmente, se o bike fit é benéfico ou se é simplesmente um dinheiro jogado fora e não vale a pena fazer.
So let's talk about enduro. The new enduro craze, they have to ride up the mountain, and they have to carry that 40-pound bike up the mountain. So they're very much want to know how to get up the mountain as comfortable as possible. So enduro, that's an easy. But the overall mountain bike thing is that we use so much body English. Does that translate to Brazilian? Finesse. That I think you need to start your bike ride in a neutral position where your weight distribution is good and you're comfortable over your bike, so that you have a starting place to begin to finesse your bike. So I think that, so the XY plane is about how you balance between the axles, and that way you've got a starting place for your finesse. Center of gravity. You need to be able to adjust your center of gravity for that gravitational moment. And if you start too far back, or you start too far forward, or too far up, then you're having a difficult time of finding that center of gravity. So I think bike fit is really important. So for the guys who pedal their bikes uphill, it's the same important for mechanics as it is for cross country or road. The downhill guys, you need to be able to finesse the bike. Now, does the bike fit studio need to change? Yes. I think we need to look at inclines and declines, and we need to know kind of what happens to that body in these different places. I think that you're going to see a platform that allows us to do that. There's a stationary road trainer now that does it. I think that has to happen for the mountain bike, right? So what I do now for mountain bike guys, I study their video. So I look at their body position through different percents of grade and kind of know where they are. And yeah, so you look at the fast guys. It's like anything else. We look at the fast guys first. What are they doing differently than the slow guy? And that's how you drive fit. So it's different, but it's absolutely important. But you know, the mountain bike, the mindset of the mountain bikers, it's freedom. That's my baggy clothes. I want to be out there. I don't want any rules. I think that keeps them from coming in and asking for advice. And hopefully we can break through that free rider mentality.
Eu também questionei ele sobre a questão das pessoas do dia a dia. A pessoa que às vezes vai para a padaria de bicicleta e ela acha muitas vezes que um processo de bike fit demorado é uma coisa que não é para ela. É uma coisa que é para ciclistas profissionais, que realmente se precisam gastar dinheiro com isso, e se não seria interessante que fizessem um processo de bike fit mais simplificado, porque às vezes o cara que só vai na padaria de bicicleta, ele não está afim de passar por uma sessão de 2 horas de bike fit, e na verdade ele quer só ajustar ali a altura do selim, alguma coisa assim, e aí eu perguntei para ele se ele pensa nisso e de que forma eles pensam em evoluir o processo para que isso possa funcionar mais e se disseminar pelo ciclista do dia a dia.
For the commuter, especially the lady commuter, they're going to wear different shoes every day. So we're not going to affect her office shoes, right? We're not. She's going to wear her high heels one day and her sandals the next, and so we're not going to have much impact there. Saddles and handlebars are the two things that I think really keep commuters off bikes. That, you know, a really uncomfortable saddle, you might make it to the market a block away. But a really uncomfortable saddle, you're not going to make it to the office. You're not going to choose to commute 10 kilometers. And that's too bad, because we could, one less car, right? If we can eliminate one more car, less pollution, healthier people, less diabetes, less obesity, blah, 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 all those things. So I think talking to people about saddle comfort, saddle sizes, saddle position, and if you hook them, if you can make their commuter saddle comfortable, they're going to come back, right? I think people think on commuter bikes, if they sit straight up, this is going to be the most comfortable position. Well, it's not. I mean, we really disengage some of our musculature when we sit up too straight. gravity pushes straight down on our pelvis and our crotch. So there's a tipping point that occurs, and it's kind of a self-selected where there is a forward lean that is where you can hold your body in space with your own core strength. That's going to allow you to use more musculature to push down on the pedal, make you more efficient, and will make your saddle more comfortable, and will actually take pressure off of your hands. If the handlebars are too high, your body wants to find this self-selected torso angle, and if the handlebars are too high, they're actually just pressing up in your hands. So one way to relieve hand pressure is actually take the bars away from you, and it's counterintuitive. So the commuting crowd thinks they want to do this. They really don't. So I think you can hook them in on a couple of things. Make their saddle more comfortable, and then, well, you know, we could do this with your handlebars. And, yeah. I think we need to hook them in on the things that really affect them, and that'd be saddles and hands.
E para terminar a entrevista com ele, eu perguntei se ele acredita que nos próximos anos e num futuro próximo aí, nós vamos ter uma mudança muito grande no processo de bike fit. Lógico que a tecnologia, como vocês viram na entrevista, ela trouxe algumas mudanças significativas em alguns saltos em alguns determinados momentos. E se isso, agora num futuro próximo, nós vamos ter mais algum salto desse, vai ter alguma mudança grande, se ele, com a experiência que ele tem, se ele prevê alguma mudança mais drástica nos próximos anos.
I do think things are going to change. I think we're pushing technology pretty hard. There are technologies that are being developed outside of cycling that I think we can bring to cycling that will lower the cost and make it easier. We're several years away, but no, I think that we can make bike fitting. So technology is one thing. The educated fitter is the second. So my battle is to continue educating retail fitters around the world and medical fitters around the world. And then technology should happen second. Technology supports the good fitter. So I would, if I was to make one point for your readers and listeners, it would be beware of the bike fitting studio where the machine seems to do the work, right? If you ask the fitter a question, he immediately looks at his computer screen. He's dependent on technology. You want a guy that's really well educated, who's really well experienced, who's using technology to enhance. Yes, that's why it's the retool.
Yeah. Então é isso, pessoal. É sempre uma grande honra poder entrevistar uma pessoa como o Andy Pruitt, que você vê que é um cara que participou intensamente da história do ciclismo. Então, o que você tem hoje no ciclismo, muita coisa foi desenvolvida por ele, a forma com que os médicos nas grandes voltas, Tour de France, Giro de Itália, volta, atendem os ciclistas, foi um protocolo desenvolvido por ele. Então é sempre muito legal você poder ter contato com um cara que é tão importante, digamos assim, para a história do ciclismo, que realmente viveu toda essa... É sempre legal, sempre você consegue adquirir muito conhecimento. Eu espero que eu consiga ter passado um pouco, transmitido um pouco desse conhecimento deles que eu adquiri para vocês. Então é isso, fiquem ligados aqui no nosso canal, se inscrevam no nosso canal para que vocês possam receber as atualizações. Tenho tentado fazer bastante conteúdo de vídeo, acho que quero tentar fazer cada vez mais agora nos próximos meses. Então é isso, se inscreva aí, curta a nossa página, segue a gente no Instagram e tudo mais. E é isso, galera, até a próxima.